All right, last day of OTAs, and I'm going to tell you who I believe won the offseason in terms of their conditioning and strength and conditioning. We'll talk about that today here on Locked On Jaguars.
You are Locked On Jaguars, your daily Jacksonville Jaguars podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
It is your team every day here on Locked On Jaguars. We thank you for making us your first listen. I'm Tony Wiggins, the host of the Locked On Jaguars podcast that you can find wherever you get those podcasts. Whether you watch or listen, I'm going to be there. And I'm going to give you a daily show here that lasts about 30 minutes telling you all of the big items I believe will affect the Jacksonville Jaguars this season. Shout out to the everydayers for joining us every day. Make sure you tap in if you're not an everydayer. I hope I give you a reason to become one. Definitely. We're going to run down the show today. Walker Little is Mr. Consistent in the third segment. Second segment, Mason Smith is ready to make noise. And we're going to start it out talking about Tyson Campbell and how he looks the part. All right, but first I have to let you know that today's show is sponsored and brought to you by FanDuel. That's right. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins at FanDuel. Let's get it going, man, right at the very, very top. What I'm going to do today is it's very, very hard to say who's done what in the offseason, how it's going to affect the team when they play real football, because right now they're just in helmets and shorts. No pads whatsoever. Football's I've always been told that football is about one being in shape before everything starts, but once everything getting started, it's all about blocking and tackling. You don't see blocking and tackling in mini camps and OTAs. You see a little bit of it in training camp, just enough for them to understand who is what, but you don't see a whole lot of that either. So how do you know? There are some ways that you can tell. Somebody asked Trevor Lawrence today, is it anything you can tell from the offensive line, even if they're not tackling and hitting? He says, well, that's true, but there are some things you can tell. And one of the things that we can tell from these players is their conditioning, right? And if you remember, one of the things that I've always talked about when evaluating players is coaches love guys that have just these intangibles, the things that you can't teach, the things that you can't coach, size, speed, and in a lot of these cases, when those things are mixed together. Like if you get a big guy that moves fast, it's like LeBron or Shaq. You're like, wait a minute, he ain't supposed to be doing that. Those are things that you can't teach. You can teach and help guys get faster. You can't help guys get bigger except in the weight room. But you really, 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 when you see a big guy that is still fast, that has athleticism and quickness, that is just something that coaches, it's like they're amused. I think they feel like they're at the top of a roller coaster when they see that. And it's like, oh my God, give it to me. Give him to me. I want that guy on my team. So just from looking at that, of course, Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter stick out. Travis is small now. He's not little and tiny, but he's a little narrow with the way he's built. Just, I saw something yesterday. I was watching a comedy, and somebody said DC Youngfly. And I said, DC Youngfly gained about 50 pounds. That's Travis Hunter. Maybe not 50, maybe 30. That's Travis Hunter. They kind of have that same narrow, but DC Youngfly is an athletic dude, move around. And Travis is like that. He's moving around, always look like he's moving faster than everybody else. He's strong, though. He's athletic and strong. There are some other players, though, that just look different. So when I say who won the offseason, who are the offseason guys, I put myself out here a little bit, and I'm not saying that they're going to lead this is going to lead to them being great players. But what I am telling you is there's a difference in these players from what I saw before. Being very clear, which is why you will not see rookies on this list and you won't see anyone who is on this team for the first time. If this is their first year with the Jaguars, they are not here. The reason for that is because I have nothing to base it on. Whoever's new here, I didn't see them last year. So I don't know what their gains have been and what they haven't been. What I'll tell you is this: they don't change their bodies during the season. Most of the time during the season, it's all maintenance. It's all game plan. It's all specific to that week's opponent. And it's maintenance, just maintaining and getting yourself back together after you've gone out there and gotten some nicks and been banged into for 60 different plays, and your body, you're trying to make sure you want to get yourself back to the way you were on opening day. Okay, that's what they do during the season. So it's important that we understand that during the off season, these guys actually do things to change their bodies and their physiques. And the first person I can tell you that it appears to me that have really, really, really changed themselves is Tyson Campbell. Always been athletic, has never been somebody that you would consider small. I don't care what they list him at. I'm telling you, he's 6'2" and change, because I'm 6 feet tall and he's probably about an inch and some more taller than I am. The difference is his arms and his legs. And I was standing with Jeff Logman today, and I said, Jeff, Tyson looks bigger. He said he's had a great offseason. He is. So this is a former player telling me that a guy's had a great offseason. What that means is, yeah, you can look at him and tell he's taking care of himself. He's bigger. Tyson Campbell looks like a safety. Tyson Campbell, when they're doing these drills, like yesterday when I was standing there next to a longtime coach, defensive back coach, former defensive coordinator, Super Bowl champion, and an NFL coach, and Dave Campo, he was talking about how good those guys look body-wise and in their conditioning. And it appears that some players have really, really, really taken to the strength and conditioning. Liam Cohen was talking today at the mic, and someone asked him about a player. I walked over there because I was over having a conversation with my friends Pete Prisco and Anthony Campanile. By the way, I was talking to the two Italian dudes. I felt like Stacks from Goodfellas. You remember Sam Jackson's character in Goodfellas, and they went to do him in, and they told him all you had to do was get rid of the truck. I thought one of those dudes, we were talking about food and Italian stuff and movies and neighborhoods up in New Jersey. And Pete and them, they wouldn't stop talking. So I was just standing there. I almost was going to put on an Italian accent myself. I thought somebody was going to look at me like I was Stacks and tell me I ain't get rid of the truck right. But I went over to see what Liam was talking about. And I cannot remember who he was saying it about, but he said, yeah, since we've been here, he looks different. He said, I noticed, since our strength and conditioning program, the guy's gotten a lot more muscular. So this is where the change occurs during these times. And Tyson Campbell is one of those guys, and my boy Sam is going to say, Sam is somewhere right now listening to this, rolling his eyes. And here's Wig, here Wig go again. No, I'm telling you, he just looked different. Like I said, I don't know how this is going to translate on the field, what it's going to translate to. But I will tell you this, a little birdie told me this, and this is not somebody on the staff, and it's not a former player. He said, the defense they're about to run, this man off, that fits him better. Because anything, you go back and look at how he was evaluated, Tyson Campbell, anything that you ever heard, any criticism, never about him. He's a 5-star recruit out of high school. He was a track athlete. Tyson Campbell is better. Doesn't mean he can't play press man. He's better at man off because it allows him to use his instincts, his size, and he can see the field. He can play small receivers. He can play big receivers. He can run across the field. He can run deep the other way. I mean, I think this defense is tailor-made for him. Tyson Campbell is the first guy I think about when I wonder who won the offseason for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to tell you who won the offseason again. This one is a second-year player. And he's going to have a 2B. I'm going to name a player and a 2B. And it's going to go back towards the draft. Mason Smith and Jordan Jefferson both have a lot to do why the Jaguars did not address interior defensive line in either the draft or free agency. And I'll talk about both of them in just a second here on Locked On Jaguars. Today's show is brought to you by Game Time. There's nothing like the NBA playoffs, man. The intensity, the buzzer beaters, the surprises, teams being up that people thought were going to lose. It's that kind of atmosphere you must experience live, and this year's matchups are already delivering. If you want in, Game Time makes it fast and easy to get seats, even for the biggest playoff games. Prices on the app actually drop closer to tip-off, and with killer last-minute deals, panoramic seat views, and no surprise fees, Game Time is a total game changer. I was just on the app, and Zone Deals were offering 10% off exclusive Zone Deals for FIFA and Club World Cup matchups. I love that I can see my exact view before I actually purchase the ticket. and it ain't no shenanigans going on, right? You'll find great seats for as low as $100 thanks to exclusive discounts. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNFL, all one word, for $20 off. Download Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, and it's going to be guaranteed. All right, moving and grooving here on Locked On Jaguars, where it is your team every day. Talking about and speaking about players who won the offseason program, did what they were supposed to do, came back, their bodies look different, and it also includes, my opinion includes the opinion of people that are in the building, and the opinions are based on guys being attentive, understanding the professionalism, how big this year is for them and for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They took that baton and ran. So we didn't include guys who are here for the first time, whether you're draftees or free agents. It's not included because I don't know how they improved. I ain't never seen them before. We mentioned Tyson Campbell earlier. Now I saw Mason Smith, and no wonder they didn't take Mason Graham. Mason Smith is legitimately 320 some odd pounds and at about 6'6". He looks bigger than Marcus Stroud did when he played here. He looks almost as big as John Henderson was when he was here. This is a little different though, because Mason has a big trunk. And what I mean by that, I ain't trying to say he got no donk or nothing. What I'm saying is, from the waist down, his legs are huge. They look like California redwood trees, man. His lower body is big, so his base is wide, and it's a little bit different than John and Stroud. Stroud was powerful. John was tall and just big up top, right? So Mason Smith, his body looks different, and he walks and acts differently. He walks and acts like a dude that's been in the gym. I ain't talking about the dude that's been in the gym for a week and all of a sudden he can't put his arms down. I'm talking about somebody that really went through the off-season workouts and went through the off-season program and got it in the way it was supposed to be gotten in to change his body. Liam Cohen mentioned it. I don't know if he was talking about him directly, but I do know when I walked up, because I was having a conversation with Pete Prisco and Anthony Campanile, it made me feel like Stacks from the movie Goodfellas, but that's cool. They were talking about all kinds of Italian food and stuff. I'm just standing there like, yeah, I had that too, But no, seriously, I walked up and Liam Cohen sitting there running it down, and he was talking. He said I can't remember who he was talking about, but it is either Tyson. It had to be either Tyson Campbell, Mason Smith, guys that just look differently than their bodies did the last time we saw veterans here. So Cole was like, hey, whoever it was he was talking about, he was addressing it, saying they really changed the physique just in the short time we've been here in our program. And basically he was saying, yeah, he looks different. I can tell the difference. And it's all about buy-in. It's all about buy-in. See, these results that we want as fans and media, it doesn't come without a lot of sacrifice and hard work, right? And the first place where that sacrifice and hard work shows up is dedication to the team and being at the facility and working out. Even if guys go away, like some veterans go away, and coaches don't hold it against them because they say, we ain't worried about him, because every single time you see that person, they are in supreme physical condition. It's a big deal. I think Mason Smith is ready to make things happen. I'm not going to talk about formations and all of that stuff, but I will tell you this. We were wondering about alignment, like how guys were going to line up, right? I can tell you that they're going to be multiple. I would suggest that y'all go back and watch Green Bay and their defense. And sometimes Green Bay. So I'll tell you what Green Bay did, and then I'll tell you how to do deductive reasoning and see what I'm talking about here. There's sometimes Green Bay has a nose tackle, and then they have three techniques or three technique body types lined up on either side. So they only have 3 down linemen, and then they have 2 big pass rushers standing up on the outside, which looks like an odd front because they're all there. Really, it's just kind of a hybrid defense, but it's a defense that allows to get 2 guys on the field who normally you wouldn't see them side by side unless it was in a passing situation and the nose tackle wasn't there. But it also, in this case, in Green Bay, most of the time the nose tackle is there because he's their best player. The kid out of UCLA, 97, Kenny Young. So he ain't going anywhere. I want y'all to pay attention. I can't talk about the Jaguars, but I can tell you what Green Bay did where Anthony Campanile came from. It's a situation where you can have your nose tackle and both guys who, when you normally line up in your base 4-3, right? You have your nose tackle, and then you usually have one guy next to him that's a 3 technique, and then you have your 2 ends. Well, in Green Bay, you can have a nose tackle. You notice I said Green Bay. Nose tackle, 2 dudes that are usually competing with each other for the 3 technique, and then your 2 edge rushers on the outside. So y'all get my point? My point is don't be surprised when the Jaguars do whatever it takes to get their best, most impactful players on the field. If that means Eric Armstead and Mason Smith on the field at the same time, you're talking about 6'6", 6'7", both guys. One guy right at 290. The other dude is 320. Not to mention Devon Hamilton or Jordan Jefferson, who's the second part of this equation I'm going to bring up, because Jordan Jefferson is a kid that played at LSU just like Mason Smith. He also is in his second year just like Mason Smith. And just like Devon Hamilton and Mason Smith, Jordan Jefferson is huge also. Remember last year or 2 years ago when I said, well, wait a minute now, the Jaguars only got 2 dudes over 300 pounds. That was Foye Oluokun and Devon Hamilton. And then Devon got injured. So they only had Foye Oluokun and then some journeymen like Ledbetter or something who's like 295. And I'm like, they're not big enough. And then you remember, not Foye Oluokun, what's the cat's name? Foley Falukazi, who's down in Houston. Sorry about that mistake. But Falukazi then got hurt. Then they're up in Philly in the rain and they can't stop the run, and they get the ball run down their throat because they don't have any big people in the game. They had to go out and sign a whole bunch of big guys off of the street. And this is what I said. How can you set your roster up like that from the very beginning, knowing that these guys are super, super important, but you ain't got but 2 of them? It's the same thing that they were doing with Trent and Urban when they needed speed receivers. They needed speed on offense. And they just go out and just find the fastest dude that was just out there who had NFL experience and run him down the field. And just take throw it deep this time. It's like, that's not how you do things. That's not how you affect things. So Mason Smith is number 1. Jordan Jefferson looked great as well. He is number 2. Who might be the third person that I say won the offseason conditioning program? We're going to go on the offensive side of the ball. Walker Little, come on down. We'll discuss you in just a second here on Locked On Jaguars. My man Walker Little, man, has been receiving praise after getting so much criticism. I was one of the people that was criticizing him, but I'll explain. Yep, your starting left tackle, man, he's looked pretty impressive. His body looks good. He walks around like he knows he's the starter. I used to see him over there, like I said, talking to Cam Robinson and talking to Brandon Sheriff, and he should have, because those guys were veterans, but always in learning phase. Well, once you got that contract extension last year, he played pretty well, right? Let me give you a little bit of backdrop on why I felt the way that I did about Walker Little. That is because they treated Walker Little like he was nothing for a while, in my opinion. And if you don't agree with me, I understand that. But when they let go of Jawan Taylor, who's out there, but some people think he's out there robbing and stealing money from Kansas City. He's doing it by going to the Super Bowl. But still, when they let him go, I thought Walker Little was going to plug right in at right tackle. Didn't happen. There was some thought that they were going to move Cam Robinson to right tackle. Cam Robinson was emphatic. He's only ever played left tackle. He told me that, and he wasn't switching, and he didn't. In fact, they gave Cam Robinson an extension too, right before they made the decision not to retain Jawan Taylor. Then they drafted Anton Harrison, who was a left tackle in college, and made him a right tackle. And so at that point, I was like, all right, They ain't got no plans for Walker Little. Maybe they do, but it ain't right now, and it ain't at right tackle. If it's at anything, it's at left tackle. But then Cam got suspended, came back. Walker had played. Yeah, he didn't overwhelm anybody, but I think he got hurt. And then Cam Robinson came rolling back through. And when Cam Robinson came rolling back through, I thought they were going to trade him in the offseason again, and they didn't. I've never seen a dude get a contract extension without being a full-time starter at that position. So for those that say, Wig, you always talk about player development. I do. And that's key and that's critical to the success of the team, player retention. They actually drafted and re-signed an offensive lineman. Cam Robinson was probably the last time that happened, right? So it's a good thing that they're moving in a new direction, but don't tell me that left tackle wasn't a sore spot for you or something to think about, because there were still people in the draft saying, okay, they're going to draft Will Campbell. If they draft Will Campbell, play him at left guard for a year or two, and then if Walker doesn't work out, push him back outside or push Anton over there and make him compete with Walker. We all thought that if they just gave the job to Walker Little, it would be because of the contract. First of all, we don't know who initiated the contract extension. Second of all, we don't know how this staff felt about him before they got here. I know how Sean Starrett, the offensive line coach, feels about him right now. I can tell you without one iota of a doubt that when I was sitting there with me O'Brien at the coach's sit down and she asked him about Walker Little, I tell you what, his cheeks turned red and he started smiling. He started smiling like he had a crush on a girl in high school. And he said he has been so consistent. Love him. You see him, man. He's 6'7", 320 pounds, and you can't help but look at him and go, somebody did tell me this, and it was funny. Walker always looks like he ain't got a care in the world. Dude always looks like he just woke up too early. And he's like, I don't care what time of day it is. You can probably see him on stage at the Super Bowl with confetti. And Walker Little going to have that same look on his face. And I ain't got no problem with it as long as he plays well. And I think Walker Little has won over this coaching staff and their opinion of him. And that bodes well for us, because if he plays the way they appear to be excited for him playing, if he plays that way and those results, y'all gonna look up and realize that whatever his contract is, somewhere close to 15 million, if it's that much, 13 to 15, is a bargain for a left tackle. That is going to allow you to do a whole bunch of stuff. A whole bunch of stuff. Now, I'm going to sit here and tell you, I didn't see much of a difference in the body of Anton Harrison. So we're doing the superlatives. I really believe that last year and this year, I thought Anton played okay his rookie year, but then because he was injured, I thought you see more of a jump. I'm getting the feeling, though, his play is hampered by the fun nature that he has off the field. He talks about cooking, talks about all of these things. I think the perception of him from the new staff is they want to see more, because Sean Starrett said, I want him to be more consistent. And it appears that he is in a little bit of a battle with the kid that they got from Dallas, Idoka. It seems like Chuma Idoka. It looks like, and I know the depth chart, and I know this is training camp, but they're really giving Idoka a chance to win that right tackle spot and look impressive in this system. So he's got some work cut out for him, man. He really, really does. He's got some work cut out for him. But Walker Little doesn't. Walker Little has gotten, this coaching staff is super, super excited. And I'm glad. Walker was a 5-star recruit, man. Got hurt. He went out to Stanford, got banged up. Kid out of Texas. All kinds of potential, right? And maybe all of this doubt and all of the people talking about him has opened up a little bit of a nasty streak in him. And he's just going, you know what? He probably also, he missed a couple of years. He missed COVID, and then he missed a year with a knee injury. And then he didn't play a whole bunch when he first came to the league. Walker Little just hadn't played a lot of football since his first year in college. So, and that's a hard position. When you're rehabbing an injury, it's hard enough if you're healthy, but you're rehabbing, and now you got to get experience, and now they're throwing you into the fire. This is player development that happened by accident, but you know what? We're going to take it because Hopefully, if he's as good as the coaches seem to be excited about him potentially, and I really do think a lot of this goes on Sean Starrett, the ability. I know Baselli has had it. Baselli told me a couple of months ago, "Wait till you see this offensive line coach." So when you hear a Hall of Fame offensive lineman that understands it, he kind of tells you that, and he was real off the record type, and he's like, "Well, you're gonna love him." And I think Tony and I had that conversation because we used to have that conversation. We did not talk bad about the coaching staff. We did not talk bad about the offensive line coach. None of those guys in the past. And even in our past conversations, we just always felt that they really needed to throw the kitchen sink and everything else they had resource-wise at building their offensive line. And I've been thinking that forever. Leon Searcy told me yesterday, and I told y'all this, and I told Leon, by the way, I told Leon that I say this all the time, and I reference him. I said, Leon said, man, I just wanted a stalemate. I got sick of Leon said, 1st and goal from the 5. We got to throw it twice. We can't move nobody. Can't convert a 4th and 1. He says, I just want a stalemate. I just want to win sometimes. He said, they got the bodies in there now. They look bigger. They look stronger. Leon agreed. He agreed with me. And we had talked about it in the past. So that's arguably, no, they ain't arguably. Those are the 2 best offensive linemen in the history of this team. They both said the same thing. Therefore, I am happy the Jaguars have done the things that they've done. So those are the guys. Tyson Campbell, Mason Smith, Walker Little, all look great. Honorable mention to Jordan Jefferson also. And we're going to keep pulling little Anton like the little engine they could. Come on, man. Come on, DC. Come on, Mumbo Sauce. You got it. You got to be able to get through it, man, and live up to your potential. I just don't like guys wasting their opportunities. Don't waste an opportunity to get smarter as an NFL fan. Tune in to Locked On NFL Scouting with Kyle Krabs and Joe Marino. They will have you ready for the season. They know all of these rosters, every single one of them. They know all of these prospects. Dudes are unreal when it comes to that stuff, and they'll make you a smarter NFL fan. Make sure you check out the Locked On NFL Scouting podcast wherever you get your podcast. Y'all take care. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday, bright and early, here with another edition of Locked On Jaguars.